INDYCAR Series. With live coverage of today's qualifying, this is INDYCAR Radio.
Children's of Alabama in the Grand Prix powered by Amherst. Mark James, Davey Hamilton, the whole crew set to take you through qualifying here at beautiful Barber Motorsports Park. And Davey Hamilton, eyes on the racetrack, eyes on the sky.
Yeah, right now, racetrack looks really good, pretty dry. I thought the green flag was to come out right then, but then I seen the pace car go by, so it seemed a little, or pace car taking an extra lap there. Not sure if that's Servy out there testing the track out or what, but the track, Mark, actually, there is some damp, I would say damp spots on it, but majority of it, I would say it's 80% dry, and I think everywhere the track online is dry.
4 minutes or so until the green flag, giving us an opportunity to set the stage for you. More importantly, recap the practice session earlier today. A couple of drivers found the tire barriers.
Yeah, a couple. Matter of fact, Marcus Ericsson, he almost got upside down, really got airborne in that car. Got up on the side, come slamming down. Some repair work needed to be done with that. And also, Pato Award got a little loose coming off that final turn 17, overcorrected into the softer. It was a wall, but it's the softer one, and it helped not tear that car up so much. Still had to change a rack in that car. Back to the garage he went. So 2 cars freshened and put back together for this qualifying session.
How about we transition into more on 2 of those topics, namely Marcus Ericsson and the conditions. We do so by welcoming in Alex Wolf.
Well, Mark, we'll start with those conditions. Ambient temperature is 71, track temperature 85, sunshine peeking out through the clouds, some blue skies trying to burn through as well. But to the Marcus Ericsson situation, a few moments ago I had a chance to talk to Ziggy Harkus, who was right in there getting down and dirty, literally with the dirt covered on the back of his shirt of the 2018 for Andretti Global Marcus Ericsson, that scary looking incident. And they had to make wholesale changes to some of the only things that you can't buy up the street at Buc-ee's. They had to change the entire rear end, the hybrid unit, the under tray, including both underwings, but everything is buttoned up and good to go. And in a few moments, we'll see Marcus Ericsson out on the track to qualify in Group 1.
Yeah, thanks for the update, Alex. And importantly, he is a Group 1, so they really had their work cut out for them. Others in Group number 1. Let's give you the whole rundown now. It's Alex Palou, Will Powers, Scott McLaughlin, Santino Ferrucci, Connor Daly, Christian Rasmussen, Nolan Siegel, Alexander Rossi, Jacob Abel, Marcus Ericsson, Marcus Armstrong, Graham Rahal, and Pato Award. Those are the 13 drivers that make up Group number 1, and then we'll do Group number 2. You take the fastest 6 from each one, Davey. Then we go into the round of 12, and then we set the fast 6.
That's right. And it looks to be, I mean, who knows what this weather's going to do. We may see a little bit of rain. It may stay dry. Who knows? But one good thing for all these teams, they did have the opportunity to take their cars out in wet conditions for the last, it was 9.5 minutes of the last practice session. So it's not really going to catch anybody out, but it's going to be interesting because right now it's going to be dry for at least these first couple groups.
And it's a long straightaway that we are high atop at the start-finish line, and the left-hander starts the downhill swing. That takes you around turns 2 and 3, and then you crest the hill, then turn number 4, and come into the signature portion of this racetrack known as Charlotte's Web. And calling the action there throughout the weekend for us for the NTT IndyCar Series is Nick Yeoman.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Mark. This is one of my favorite views on the entire IndyCar calendar. It is Charlotte's Web. Why do we call it that? Well, because of the exit of turn number 5, there is a giant spider statue in the grass, one of the very many signature architecture and sculptures that you see around Barber Motorsports Park, and they've got Charlotte's Web carved into the grass as well. But let's talk a little bit about turns 5 and 6. It is a hard braking zone, 90-degree left-hand turn. Great opportunity to set up passes when we go racing tomorrow. As for today, this is where you can make or break your lap depending on how hard you want to dive into turn 5 and ultimately when you want to pick up the throttle. It's a double apex corner, turn 5, turn 6, and then it's back roaring through the RPMs to let these Honda and Chevrolet engines do what they can. They will sweep underneath the pedestrian bridge on that third straightaway, and right before they jump onto the brakes and head downhill, they pop into the view of Michael Young, who is over there by the fabulous Barber Motorsports Museum.
You know, you talk about little relics and monuments throughout this great race course. I just found a Sasquatch, believe it or not, or at least I think it's one, hiding right there at the entrance to turn number 8. It's a right-hander, and then a quick left-right wiggle, if you will, as the driver set up for this long sweeping turn number 9. They'll put the right sides at the apex into the dirt. It'll upset the balance of the car. set up for a very long portion of this track, the back straightaway. They'll go at least 300 to 400 yards before they hit turn number 10. That is a left-hander where it looks completely green through there. A little bit of wet patches here and there, but they will have a nice clean racing line that is dried out, and then a long sweeping right-hander of turn number 11. A quick little straight until they get to turn number 12. Market is just gorgeous. Sun was out, but this clouds has covered up the sun right now, so it's cooled off every bit ever so slightly, but still a beautiful day here in Alabama.
That area that runs from turns 10 all the way to 12 and 13, that is where all of the fans usually pile in underneath those trees over there, Davey. That's a very popular viewing spot. So we've described the first 7, 8, 9, 9 turns. Take us through the rest of this course from turn 12 all the way around to 16, 17.
Yeah, really, 10 and 11 are tricky because it's a flat-out left, right-hand corner down that back straightaway that these drivers can go wide open through. They're not easy, but they hit it just right, wide open. But then as you go down into 12, you drop off into a blind left-hander. Into 13, it drops off and then goes up a steep hill. Can't see anything as you're going over that, and the exit's really crucial not to slide off the outside of that curve, as we see McLaughlin do there yesterday. And then just a long right-hander around turn 15, and then 16, you got to take a lefty back on this front straightaway.
And so the clock has started. And against below, Power, McLaughlin, Ferrucci, Daly, Rasmussen, Siegel, Rossi, Abel, Erickson, Armstrong, Ray Hall, Pato Award. Scott McLaughlin among the first to leave the pits, and he's setting up for Charlotte's Web.
Yeah, he calls this machine the Meat Wagon. Good Ranchers, the sponsorship on that car. A lot of swerving back and forth, so I think Scott McLaughlin trying to get a little heat in those tires. Remind fans, 2 different tire compounds, the harder compound blacks and the softer alternate reds. Alex Palou navigates Charlotte's Web as well. As for Scott McLaughlin, Michael, he sets up in front of you.
Primary compound, the first time they've seen it, and the drivers say they've liked it thus far. Scott McLaughlin looking good, letting that car sweep out to his left. Plenty of clean green racetrack out in front of him, flat out through that left-hander of turn number 10, hugging that outside line, the right-hander of turn number 11, and in his mirrors, Felix Rosenquist now entering that portion of the course.
Ray Hall is out on the course. Pato Award is out on the course as well. Santino Ferrucci setting up for turn 5.
Yeah, heads down into that fifth corner, gets hard on the brakes, keeps that red and black machine for A.J. Foyt planted right in the middle of the racetrack, then lets it eat up off of the corner, slide to driver's right. Another red, white, and black car following him. That is Jacob Abel. As for Ferrucci, Michael, he's already into turn 8.
Yeah, Santino Ferrucci will have the car of Connor Daly in front of him. About 10 to 15 car lengths separate the two. We saw plenty of bunching up, and Santino Ferrucci will let off the throttle as he has a car closing in on his rear wing. He's trying to gap himself, but again, we saw this in the practice session, seeing it again in qualifying.
We've seen McLaughlin, Palou clear the timing and scoring loop. We also see Alexander Rossi picking up steam now as he starts to crest the hill at turn number 4.
Yeah, and these drivers are absolutely on flyers, as Rossi's got plenty of green racetrack in front of him and behind him. And that Java House machine for Ed Carpenter Racing, brand new team for Rossi this season. Smooth exit out of turn at number 6, Michael, as he slips underneath the bridge.
Scott McLaughlin locked him up just moments ago, nearly ran off course as we see Alexander Rossi make his way through turn number 9. Nice, clean, smooth exit. Left sides go onto the outside rumble strips. Now that left-hander of turn number 10, really strong through turn number 11. Nice couple of turns for Alexander Rossi.
Davey, close call for Christian Rasmussen.
Yeah, very close call. Coming over that crest we talked about in turn 13, just got that thing completely sideways. McLaughlin did it earlier yesterday, I guess it was. And, man, luckily they saved that car. Another, I couldn't tell who it was, coming over, I think it was Graham Rahal, almost comes over that hill and collects it.
7-minute mark of the period. Palou, it's McLaughlin, Rossi, Erickson, Will Power, the top 6. Then Armstrong, Abel, Connor Daly, Ray Hall, the top 10 as Alex Palou heads towards turn 5.
Our championship leader has opened the season with 2 wins and a second place finish. Nice little cushion for the 3-time IndyCar champ. He exits turn number 6 smoothly, then gets quickly on the throttle as he's chasing after Scott McLaughlin into turn 8.
Good looking paint scheme this weekend for Alex Palou. Those HRC colors for Honda on the outside of those side pods. Locked him up through turn number 8, got back into the throttle in turn number 9, lost it ever so slightly for a second. second, but looks really nice through turn number 10. Little wiggle as he made that right-hander at turn number 11.
We haven't talked much about Connor Daly this weekend, hoping to build some momentum, Nick Yeoman, as we head to the month of May as he's off turn number 4.
Yep, and there will be plenty of folks at the corner of 16th and Georgetown in Indianapolis that will be rooting on the hometown kid, Connor Daly. He's not the hometown guy this weekend, but looking for a good run. He exits turn number 6 and 7 smoothly. Connor Daly and that blue, white, and green car heads to you, Michael, in turn 8.
Hucos Hollinger Racing, the new home for Connor Daly as he sets up for turn number 8, giving that team an opportunity for a strong finish, dare I say, even an opportunity to win the Indianapolis 500. Connor Daly already through turn number 11.
6-minute mark of the session, Davey. We look down below and we start to see tires laid out.
Yeah, what's going to happen now, most of these drivers went out there on the red, softer compound alternate tire. Now they're going to, or the primary tire, they're going to come in and put that softer tire on right now, and that's when they're really going to start cutting some laps. I do see Jacob Abel. He went out on a set of reds because he's off the pace a little bit, and he'll go through 2 sets of reds trying to get the best qualifying run he can.
Marcus Armstrong is in his pit box to the attention of his crew. Michael Young, you will see Marcus Erickson, an eventful practice session for him. But Nick Yeoman, trouble for Will Power off at turn number 6.
Yeah, not exactly sure what happened. It just caught it late, but Will Power is very slow leaving that corner. There was some smoke kicked up, Mark, so I'm not sure if he spun or not. He does have that car full song, Michael. You'll be able to see if there's any damage to that red and white Verizon machine for Will Power.
Looks like he's back up to speed, Nick. He makes his way through turn number 9. Nothing looks askew on that car. Whatever happened in turn number 6, it looks like he fixed it and is back and looking good. He's already through turn number 11 at speed.
Davey, you've got to look at the replay.
He did. He came off that final corner, turn 6 we talked about, got onto the accelerator just a little bit quick, turned it around, spun it. There's a little moisture on that outside. He just spun it around, got in the grass. He didn't hit anything but a cardboard cutout or cardboard advertisement on the grass, so no damage to that car.
4.5-minute mark of this first session. Updates from the pits, which is a busy place. We'll start with Alex Wolf.
Marcus Armstrong, the first one towards the front section of the pits to head back out onto the track, onto the alternate reds. Alexander Rossi follows him. Scott McLaughlin just went out. And Alex Palou, you hear his engine revving. He got a turn and a half of front wing as he went back onto the reds. Drake York.
Same thing happening on this end of pit road. Both the McLaren cars in this group of Siegel and Award came in. Ray Hall, they just put on the Firestone alternates. He just left along with Christian Rasmussen. So the crossover time is nigh.
Full field rundown now of this group at the halfway mark of this session. It's Palou, McLaughlin, Rossi, Abel, Power, Award, the top 6. We'll finish the other 6 once we hear from Nick Yeoman.
Yeah, I just wanted to jump in quickly, Mark. Almost had a collision on pit lane. Will Power and Nolan Siegel. Nolan Siegel had to jump out of the throttle, hit the brakes very hard. Will Power nearly drove into the side of him. I don't think they made contact, but that is way too close for pit lane here at Barber.
3-minute mark now, 3.5-minute mark, we should say. Palou, McLaughlin, Rossi, Abel, Power, Award, Ferrucci, Siegel, Erickson, Ray Hall, Daly, Rasmussen, Armstrong. Who do you like in this session, Davey?
Well, right now I think Palou. I really like Palou and McLaughlin right now. I think I would like to put Will Power in there. 2 incidents already in this session. He sits P5 right now, but spun and then almost an incident on pit lane. So hopefully he can keep it clean here and get enough laps in to get heating those red alternate tires and keeping that top 6.
See Marcus Armstrong now making his way around that carousel, if you will. 2 and 3. He'll crest the hill soon, Nick Yeoman. Not too far behind him is Alexander Rossi.
Yeah, his teammate Felix Rosenquist is off to a good start. Armstrong trying to get up there in the points. He gingerly drives it into turn number 5. As you mentioned, Alexander Rossi, they're both on those alternate reds trying to get some heat in them, Michael, as we wind down here Group 1 of Round 1.
Marcus Armstrong with Meyer Shank Racing still under that Ganassi banner on those alternate tires right now. Made his way into the Fast 6 last year here at Barber Motorsports Park. Nice exit out of turn number 9, already making that left-hander of turn number 10 and 11 as we see Alexander Rossi slow, now getting back into the throttle.
Ray Hall, Power, they're the next ones to turn 5.
Here comes Graham Rahal. He will drive it in pretty deep. He'll keep it about 5 to 10 feet off that inside line. Then a host of cars following him. You got Nolan Siegel, Santino Ferrucci, Will Power, all on the accelerator, Michael. Headed to you in turn number 8.
And everybody's starting to slow down right now. Marcus Erickson is pulled to driver's right. right to allow Pato Award to go by. Now Graham Rahal has to slow his car up. Nolan Siegel will do the same. So too Santino Ferrucci. Will Power still at speed, and he'll slow down. So this will cost everybody a lap.
And Power came off of Ford, Davey, and slowed way up to let those cars go around him.
Yeah, let them go around, stay out of their way, let them make that lap, and then hopefully that gets him a clear lap as well. He's still right now is in that 6th position on that bubble, but still hanging in there.
So here we are with about 1:20 remaining in this session. It's Pato Award, Alex Palou, Scott McLaughlin, Alexander Rossi, Jacob Abel, then Will Power. Right now on the outside, Ferrucci, Siegel, Erickson, Rahal, Daly, Rasmussen, and Marcus Armstrong. We see Daly roar by. Then we see the car of Pato Award scream by. How about Marcus Erickson into turn 5, Nick Yeoman?
Yeah, of course. He was fastest yesterday in practice, and then you guys detailed that incident that he had. That's a nice, smooth exit, though, for turn 7. He's catching Pato Award. Looks like Pato's going to stay to driver's right. He'll allow Erickson to sweep by Michael as they head to you.
Marcus Erickson, Bryant sponsorship on that car. He'll lock up that front right. That will mean Pato Award has to woe that car down, allowing Graham Rahal to get around. So Marcus Erickson, a slight mistake in turn number 9. He will now check out and get through turn 11.
30 seconds left in the session, Davey. We saw Marcus Armstrong go P1, and then to the blink of an eye, it goes Palou, and now McLaughlin is P1.
How about that? Marcus Armstrong went from 13th to 1st in one lap right there, from last to first. Finds himself in 3rd right now, but Pato Award. Graham Rahal is on the bubble right now, but how about Connor Dana in that 7th spot? He's right on the verge of getting in as Nolan Siegel jumps in, bumps them both out.
10 seconds remaining in that session as Siegel goes to P6. It's McLaughlin, Palou, Armstrong, Award, Ferrucci, and Siegel, the fast 6. Rahal, Daly, Rossi, Rasmussen, Abel, Power, Erickson trying to get in.
Yeah, how about Power and Erickson on the bottom of the group, 12th and 13th, pretty surprising. Marcus Erickson, maybe not so much. Had to rebuild that car before this practice. Maybe didn't get things exactly right, but with Will Power 12th, what a surprise.
Santino Ferrucci off at turn number 5.
The last couple cars getting to wrap up their laps here as the checkered flag is out. Ferrucci already out of turn number 6. Will Power, Jacob Abel chasing Michael. Everybody trying to find those final tenths of a second.
And there will be nobody letting up here as we see Pato Award cross under the bridge. Then Nolan Siegel. Then Graham Rahal. Santino Ferrucci will be the final of that foursome to make his way through. Flat out flying through this portion. So till Will Power. Also Jacob Abel still on flyers.
And it looks like Jacob Abel will be the last one on the clock, Davey. We're watching Will Power through that straightaway right now. Yeah. We're seeing Power try to pick up the pace a little bit.
Who's in 13th, by the way, and we're going to cross the line right now. Where does that put him? Oh, P6 right on that bubble right now. He's in the fast 6, but I think there's only one car of Abel behind him. I think he's going to be okay.
And that's the car of Jacob Abel. We are waiting for Abel to clear that timing and scoring loop. So here we are with the fast 6. It looks like Alex Palou, Scott McLaughlin, Marcus Armstrong, 3rd fastest, then Pato Award, Nolan Siegel, and Will Power.
Yeah, good run for Nolan Siegel in that Aero McLaren car, keeping up with his teammate Pato Award. How about Santino Ferrucci in that 7th spot, just missing. Alexander Rossi had a good run earlier today, finds himself in 8th.
So it's Ferrucci, Rossi, Rasmussen, Daly, Rahal, Erickson, and Abel, who do not advance as qualifying continues here at Barber Motorsports Park.
This is IndyCar Radio. Find out more at IndyCarRadio.com.
Start your engines, race fans. At Advance Auto Parts, our lineup of free services is like having your own local pit crew. Make Advance your next pit stop, and we'll test your battery for free and install a new DieHard battery with purchase. We also have free oil recycling, wiper installation, and more. Visit us. Use the Advance Auto Parts app or buy online. From the starting line to the checkered flag, Advance will help you get the job done. Advance Auto Parts is the official aftermarket automotive retail partner of the NTT IndyCar Series.
This is how we advance.
If you're going on a trip and you need a car reservation, call the car reservation hotline now for access to every major rental car deal across the United States. We can save you a ton of money. Don't get lost searching, and don't get lost in an endless phone tree nightmare. When you call us, there's never a hold time. You'll get connected to a real human. We have access to crazy rental car deals, and we make it easy. Just one phone call to access everything. How much simpler can it get? Find out right now for free what kind of car rental deals we can get you. You'll be amazed. Pick up the phone and call the car rental hotline right now.
Call 800-797-1239. 800-797-1239.
We'll even give you one free rental car day with your reservation. Write this number down right now and call.
Call 800-797-1239. That's 800-797-1239.
Most Americans don't realize how difficult and how dangerous air travel can be for wheelchair users.
On average, 20 to 30 wheelchairs are damaged or lost by airlines every day.
Paralyzed Veterans of America has been leading the fight for change, but they need your support.
Join me in supporting Paralyzed Veterans of America.
We can make a difference.
Join the fight today.
Join PVA in the fight at pva.org.
Just getting ready for round two. One of the drivers who did not advance out of round one by the slimmest of margins is Santino Ferrucci to Drake York.
Yeah, Santino just debriefing with the team right now, and it was less than half a tenth of a second, or I should say just a tick over half a tenth of a second. Where do you even begin to find that here at such a big racetrack like Barber Motorsports Park?
Yeah, obviously it could be a little bit of a brake zone or trail brake of rolling speed, or for me, I think it was honestly in turn 17. I just didn't do a good enough job getting the tires in. I'm pretty pissed off with myself. I know we had a good car. On the bright side, though, we're going to have 3 sets of sticker reds to give it a go tomorrow, so we could be in one of the better positions moving forward.
And I was about to ask about that extra set of sticker red tires. How big of an advantage is that coming from further behind than some of the guys you're going to be racing around tomorrow?
I think it just kind of will open up our strategy options here and there. Like I said, our car balance is pretty damn good. I'm pissed at myself today, so yeah, that one stings a little bit, but, you know, we'll make it work.
Santino Ferrucci out of qualifying as green is out.
109th Indy 500 will be here before we know it. Get ready by listening to any of our past race broadcasts. Go to INDYCARradio.com and search for historical Indy 500 broadcasts. You'll find nearly 75 years of Indy 500 radio broadcasts from the IMS Radio Network. Go to INDYCARradio.com to own a piece of Indy 500 history. Group 2, David Malukas, Christian Lundgaard, Louis Foster, Robert Schwartzman, Kyle Kirkwood, Renus VK, Devlin DiFrancesco, Callum Eilon, Colton Herta, Felix Rosenquist, Giffen Simpson, Scott Dixon, Sting, Ray Robb, and Joseph Newgarden. Been a long day for the crew of the Bryant Machine of Marcus Ericsson, Alex Wolf.
Marcus, I know we had a tough day with that incident in practice. How'd the car feel in qualifying?
Car felt good, just lacking some speed, but yeah, the guys did a really good job, so super thankful for the 28 crew and everyone else in and ready to rebuild the car and, you know, get us back on track. So that was good, but yeah, obviously the results are super disappointing.
There's been a lot of question marks for everybody with this ever-changing weather today. For the warm-up, do you think there's still a chance to maybe make a move tomorrow with the strategy and whatnot?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a long race, and we have fast race cars, so we're definitely going to regroup and come back strong tomorrow.
Marcus Ericsson focusing forward towards tomorrow's race here at Barber.
They do indeed have fast race cars as a team, and they have had them collectively throughout the start of this season. And two of the fastest in terms of qualifying so far this year are headed toward Nick Yeoman. Talking about the Long Beach winner, Kyle Kirkwood, and his teammate Colton Herta.
Yeah, won that race from pole, Kyle Kirkwood did. He will charge down into turn number 5. He and Colton Herta both on the primary black tires, so these are most certainly banker laps early on. Those two Andretti Global cars look smooth out of turn number 6. Kirkwood first to you, Michael, in turn 8.
Interesting. They did not get to test here, but were very confident after our first practice session yesterday. Kyle Kirkwood exiting turn number 9. His teammate Colton Herta about 3 seconds behind him, the left-hander and right-hander of turn number 11. Mark, interestingly enough, wind starting to pick up from the south, starting to blow in the drivers' faces as they make their way down that back straightaway.
Interesting to note, Davey, one of the teams that chose not to test here, but test on the road course at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, because you have to make those decisions, was Alex Palou, who still obviously felt like that they were pretty well fixed in terms of their setup.
Yeah, well, you know, they just have been so good throughout the season, and the confidence that he has this year and the speed that he's had probably felt like, hey, we go to Barber, we know it's technical, it's good, but the track hasn't changed. They may have not struggled. Usually you go test at a track that you struggled at a little bit, that you're not that good on, so that's probably why they made that decision.
Probably hard for him to find a track.
That's true. Yeah, he's pretty dang good at all of them.
Felix Rosenquist, not too far behind Colton Herta. He crest the hill in turn number 4.
Yeah, Felix had a great season so far. Enters this weekend in the top 5 in points. The side pods on that car, nice baby blue with the white SiriusXM sponsorship on the side. He powers out of turn number 6, roars by the Ferris wheel in the backstretch has David Malukas chasing him. Malukas fastest in practice earlier today.
Felix Rosenquist tests all the limits here at Barber Motorsports Park. Actually flipped in a test earlier this year, looking perfect down the back straightaway. The left-hander, right-hander, as Nick said. David Malukas will follow in his tire tracks. Scott Dixon close behind.
We talked to him yesterday, Davey, and he was all smiles. I think Felix Rosenquist likes where he is and who he is at this point in his career.
Yeah, I believe that. I mean, I think that he said that when he came into the series, he felt like he was the guy. He's going to go win races, and then he's learned so much over the few years that he's been. I think he came in 19, and so 6 years into the series, and he goes, I wish I would have known back then what I know today, because I seen where I was weak, and now I feel like I'm very strong, and you got to just stay on top of your game, and he's with a great team as well.
7th, 5th, and 4th through the first 3 races of the season. How about a legend? Let's see how he's doing early on in this section. Let's follow Scott Dixon around the course, Nick Yeoman.
Yeah, he is another one that you'll be hard-pressed to find a racetrack he's not good at. Scott Dixon of that orange and blue PNC Bank Honda dives into turn number 5. Kept the left side Firestones off the black and white curbing. Let it swing wide out of turn number 6. Now he's on the accelerator. Scott Dixon sets up for the right-hander of 8.
We may see another Dixon some 10, 15 years down the road. His son Kit in a go-kart for the first time. We talked to Scott about that yesterday. Looks good out of turn number 9. We talked about those 9 podiums. He is hungry to win here at Barber Motorsports Park.
Sneaking up on the 6-minute mark of this session. Here's the way things stand now. Herta, Foster, Simpson, Malukas, Hilott, Kirkwood outside of the fast 6 in this session. Newgarden, VK, Lundgaard, DeFrancesco, Schwartzman, Dixon, Rosenquist, and Robb. Interesting to note, Davey, among the fastest 6 are drivers that are currently on the alternates.
Yeah, that's right. And yeah, some are. That's a good point right there. Colton Herta, obviously not one, but Kevin Simpson, a little surprised. He's been running really good. I thought that he may go out with the primary tires, but you know what you do when you're not running good, you put the alternates on, you go out for both sessions, try to get a good balance, and hope that you can be in that top 6.
More notes on the tire strategy from Alex Wolff.
And Andretti Global making the switch to the alternate red sidewall at Firestone tires. Colton Herta in with the Gainbridge Honda, and they're making no adjustments, it looks like. Kyle Kirkwood is in. No adjustments for him either, except for the blowers. Now, just as I say that, they're going to make about a turn and a half adjustment on the front wing. They got the blowers on to cool out the fans. A thumbs up, and it looks like they're going to lower that car off the air jacks, and the Long Beach winner Kyle Kirkwood should be heading back out soon, along with his teammate Colton Herta.
And much like the first session, Davey, we've reached the 5-minute mark, so that obviously means it's time for almost all of these teams to come out for those alternates.
That's right.
Those that ran the primaries anyway.
Correct. Well, even the ones that are on the alternates are going to come in and put a fresh set on too, Mark. So that's a situation where everybody's going to be coming in. Like you said, there's just under 5 minutes left. It's a good time for them to come in. They still have plenty of opportunity to go back out on the new set of alternate tires and really try to lay one down. As you got to remember, the track gets better and better as the rubber gets laid down and the rain stays away.
4.5-minute mark of the session now. Simpson, Herta, Foster, Hilott, Malukas, Newgarden, the top 6, Drake.
More cars on my end of pit lane. Remember, that's the very entrance of pit lane. Just saw the McLaren number 7 of Christian Lundgaard come in. Joseph Newgarden, Kiffin Simpson now leading. Expect the Prema cars and the Hoonco's cars in soon to switch to those Firestone alternates. And remember, Joseph Newgarden and the number 2 team coming off an issue this morning that saw them have an MGU issue. They missed most of practice heading into qualifying earlier today.
Fairly long on and off for this pit lane, Davey, and you compound that with if you're pitting under green and traffic is coming down that straightaway, it gets a little dicey at the exit of the pits with drivers making the downhill run into that left-hander.
Yeah, this pit lane really reminds me of Mid-Ohio, so they're kind of used to that as well. Really tight coming in, and then when it's a fairly short pit lane packed in here, 27 cars, there's no room, I don't think, for 28, and so you have to be careful. Really narrow pit lane as well, so you have to be. We already seen Will Power almost collide with, I think it was Nolan Siegel in the first round.
So for those of you that are new to the format, Palou, McLaughlin, Armstrong, Award, Siegel, and Power have already already advanced to the round of 12. The fastest 6 from this session will join them. And then in that round of 12, we'll pick the fast 6 that'll finalize the field as we get ready for tomorrow's race. And there's 3 minutes remaining in this session. And the tree is lit up all but red except for David Malukas.
Yeah,
right
a little
now.
bit late on Malukas. I'm expecting that he just maybe has pulled out on those, just has not crossed the timeline to register that he's on those alternate tires. Sets P5 right now. His teammate Ferrucci was so close. It was 7th in his group, just won out making it and said he made some mistakes. So there's a good opportunity Malukas can make it.
Let's keep an eye on Joseph Newgarden. He comes back out onto the course. He's on a flyer now, Nick Yeoman. He's currently 6th fastest.
Yeah, and again, lost so much track time this morning in practice. The good news for Newgarden, he is a former winner here. He's done it multiple times. Nice smooth entrance into turn number 5, that blue and white PPG machine with those alternate red tires. Newgarden motors his way down the straightaway. Michael heading to 8.
And plenty of clean and green racetrack in front of him. Joseph Newgarden puts those right sides on the curbing, allows that car to rotate out to the left side of the exit of turn number 9, to the center, now to the right side, to the left-hander of turn number 10. Does the number 2 PPG machine go? Already exiting turn number 11.
Scott Dixon, Renus VK head to turn 5.
Here they come down to turn number 5, Renus VK. He's had a couple offs in this part of the racetrack throughout the course of the weekend. Nice and smooth. He'll chase after Scott Dixon at the exit of turn number 7. Then he's got one of the Premo machines. I believe that's Robert Schwartzman giving chase. All those cars, Michael, headed to you at 8.
Scott Dixon looking good, rotating that car through turn number 9. Then Renus VK will follow. Had a little problem through this portion of the course last time. Will woe that car up, allow Robert Schwartzman to catch him. And then a gaggle of cars coming. Kyle Kirkwood and David Malukas. So everybody's starting to stack up here on the back straightaway.
Michael Young, before long, the MyJack machine of Louis Foster will head your way. A miserable year last year for him at this racetrack for Indy next with all the electrical gremlins, but he's currently P3 in this session.
And he's looked great this whole session, Mark. Already through turn number 9, now setting up for turn number 10 flat out. Really jerks that car through. It's really set to this race course. Louis Foster sets up for turn 12.
And how about this fast 6 right now? Davey, Simpson, Herta, Foster, Eilot, Malukas, and Newgarden.
Yeah, that's right. And I think this lap right now is going to be the good ones for the ones that just changed. For example, Newgarden, Colton Herta. I expect them to be jumping up. Even David Malukas, I think they have opportunity to jump. And Kyle Kirkwood is on the outside looking in. I feel he'll be fast.
7th fastest was Kyle Kirkwood when this lap began, Nick Yeoman. He crested the hill at turn 4.
Yeah, so he is going to have to find some pace here in the final moments. We're under a minute to go in this qualifying session.
Trouble in turn number 8. Scott Dixon goes around, locked the car up, actually kept it going straight. Will now get it to the outside of the race course. There's a lot of green grass out here, so we will stay green. Scott Dixon with a mistake goes through the gravel. He will make his way underneath me under the bridge right now and rejoin the field on the back straightaway.
And right now, Davey, he's 11th fastest in this session.
No, not good.
Wow.
With only 15 seconds left. When he comes across the line, it's going to be checkered flag. That's it. Scott Dixon's going to be starting in the back of this event.
Yeah, they're taking a look at an issue between the 9 and the 30. And I think that happened right when Scott came back out onto the course.
Of course, yeah.
The 30 machine was headed that way, and he had to take some evasive maneuvers to the inside to avoid Scott Dixon.
Yeah, and right now, so they're both 13th and 14th, so it's not going to make a big difference for either one of them, unfortunately, right now. As Colton Herta goes by Newgarden, puts it at P1. Newgarden stays in 2nd. Christian Lundgaard, no surprise, that 3rd. But how about this? Kiffin Simpson, I'm sorry. He put, he's 4th quickest right now. He had alternate tires on both of his runs out there today, and that seems to be paying off. And Renus VK, how about that in that Delcoin racing car?
Well, certainly some momentum for Kiffin Simpson. He was one of those drivers that ran really, really well at Long Beach. Career best finish for him at Long Beach, so some momentum for him. And Renus VK, they got to be happy with that run, although not all of the drivers have cleared the timing and scoring line. They're close to doing so. Renus VK does not improve his position. So this is kind of how things look at this point. It's Colton Herta, Joseph Newgarden, Christian Lundgaard, Kiffin Simpson, Renus VK, Louis Foster, and Devlin DeFrancesco. Davey is the last one to clear that timing and scoring loop, and he's about to do that as we speak.
Yeah, he sure is. Man, really good run for Renus VK and Louis Foster. I have to say, very impressive. I'm surprised Felix Rosenquist not getting in there, and Kyle Kirkwood in that 9th position. That's a big surprise as well.
So again, advancing on to the round of 12 is Colton Herta, Joseph Newgarden, Christian Lundgaard, Kiffin Simpson, Renus VK, and Louis Foster. Felix Rosenquist, Callum Milot, Kyle Kirkwood, David Maluka, Stingray Robb, Robert Schwartzman, Scott Dixon, Devlin DeFrancesco do not advance. Davey, look at the replay.
Yeah, what happened with Scott going down in turn 7, he gets a turn down in there, and then when he turned back just a little bit, it looks like the front end, he locked the brakes up and just slid funny. It was a really awkward way that car spun to the outside of the race course. When it goes off, as we talked about, and then as he comes back on, really kind of blocks, I think, DeFrancesco as he comes out. But, man, what a bummer for Scott. He's not going to have a good run. Not a good starting position here anyways.
IndyCar app powered by NTT data available to fans free. Find spotter guides, weekend schedules, and point standings of your favorite driver. Plus, listen to our coverage of every lap of every on-track session. Download the app today and stay on track with the NTT IndyCar Series. Qualifying continues here at Barber Motorsports Park.
This is IndyCar Radio. Find us on the IndyCar app powered by NTT.
The Honda Ridgeline, Passport, and Pilot are in a league of their own when it comes to rugged capability. Their relentless power and versatility make these vehicles the ultimate challengers for exhilarating adventures and formidable terrain. But it's not just performance that makes these cars special. It's the unwavering determination that inspires everything we do. That's why we're KBB.com's best value brand of 2023. Visit your local Honda dealer or shop online today.
Available all-wheel drive on Pilot based on 2023 brand image awards from Kelly Blue Book. Visit KBB.com for more information.
Learn how thousands of smart homeowners are investing about $1 to avoid expensive home repair bills. John, a former non-customer, said, "My air conditioner broke and I had to spend $1,900 to fix it." Jeff, a customer, wrote, "My air conditioner broke and I got a new one at no out-of-pocket cost." Mary, a former non-customer, wrote, "My heating system stopped running. I had to spend $3,000 to get a new one." Lisa, a customer, wrote, "My heater stopped working. I got it fixed at no out-of-pocket cost." For about $1 a day, you can have all the major appliances and systems in your home guaranteed fixed or replaced. Call now. If the lines are busy, please call back.
Call the Home Warranty Hotline now at 800-413-4376, 800-413-4376, 800-413-4376. That's 800-413-4376.
Looking for an app to hear all of your favorite music, news, sports, and more? We've got all of your audio all in one place, right here on TuneIn. Play your favorite stations like K Bueno, ESPN Radio.
How they looked after game 1.
I mean, they were frustrated. The Daily.
I'm Sabrina Tavernisi, and this is The Daily from inside the Democratic National Convention Hall.
And so much more. Whatever you love listening to, you can hear it all on TuneIn.
Alex Wolf back in the pits as qualifying continues here at Barber Motorsports Park with Felix Rosenquist. And Felix, just such a razor-thin margin, about 100th of a second for you, the difference between moving on and not moving on. Do you feel like there was maybe one place where you maybe were lacking during that lap?
Yeah, I felt like I kind of did the most out of it with what we had. Honestly, it's been kind of a tough week, and I haven't had great confidence in the car or myself, so I'm pretty happy we managed to put something together, but just missed out on transferring, and I think, if you transfer, you kind of get more laps underneath you, and it can normally spiral in a good way, but yeah, I just haven't been enough this week. I think I need a better feeling and more confidence, and every corner here is like big confidence, so if you don't have that last, couple of hundreds, it adds up pretty quick, so I just got to review it and hopefully be a bit better tomorrow.
It feels like in the last 24 hours, about every different weather condition except for snow has been thrown at you here on the track. How difficult is that for you with such a high commitment track to really not know what you have and you got to go out here on flyers?
I think it is what it is. We were pretty quick on transferring the car into wet mode, but it was a big hustle in practice going back and forth. It looks like it's going to hold off for now, but we'll see tomorrow. It's been a bit grumpy, the old weather here, so but it makes it fun, to be honest. I think honestly the track is still harder in dry than it is in the wet, but it was fun doing a bit of wet running, which we normally don't do in IndyCar.
Felix Rosenquist can still muster a smile after his qualifying run here at Barber.
Yeah, and as I said, all in all, Davey, it's been a really good start to the season for Felix Rosenquist and that race team as a whole.
Yeah, and as he said, it's such a high-commitment racetrack here, and if you're off and you're not just super comfortable, the car's not exactly like you want it, you have to have that confidence here because there's so many corners that if you make the slightest mistake, just like we've seen Scott, we don't see him make mistakes hardly ever, and just that one little bit, just overdrive it slightly, puts you off course here, and it really cost you. So you have to have the whole package around this tricky little racetrack.
So from a team perspective, things are looking pretty good all in all for Ganassi with Kiffin Simpson and Alex Palou. The tough end of the session for Scott Dixon, but all 3 Arrow McLaren cars and all 3 Penske cars in the next round.
Yeah, all 3. And, I really think if Scott would have finished that lap, he would have found himself in. He was on pace, I think, to be in that top 6, but it just didn't happen. But, yeah, right now we see some speed, actually. Right now all 3 of the Arrow McLaren cars are in there. The Penske cars are fast. So, still a long ways to go. You still got 12 guys shooting for that pole, and anything could happen.
And must give a shout-out to Rinus VeeKay for the coin team, but also Louis Foster with Ray Hall, Letterman, Lanigan. Yeah, great runs. Talking to Bobby Rahal yesterday, he said how he has, really happy with Louis Foster right now and how well he's adapted his IndyCar and the performance that he's put forth so far. So really good run for him. Then you got to remember on with Del Coyne and Rinus VeeKay, they were a late entry as far as announcing that's who's gonna be driving Del Coyne's car. Matter of fact, like a week before the first race. Now they've had a little bit of time to mesh together, but I think they have a long ways to go. They're still learning, his style, I feel, and there's a lot to do in that team. A lot more to go in that team to make him even quicker yet. Well, I mean, he was on pole here in 2022 and finished 3rd in that race, Davey. He was 6th in 2021, so he likes this racetrack. And as you mentioned, the relationship, I think, all in all, has gotten off to a pretty good start. I mean, they struggled at Long Beach with the 19th place finish, but they were 11th at Thermal and the top 10 at St. Pete. Yeah, right, and he showed a lot of promise. And coming here, obviously, as you said, he just likes this racetrack. We're so used to seeing him with ECR and so different seeing him with a different team, but I think that's all going to mesh together. He's starting off good. I think he's very, very hungry. He wants to be a winner. He wants to get back in victory lane, and so obviously so does Del Coyne. So I think it's a good combination. They just need to keep fighting and get that Ask ROI team back in victory lane. Challenging qualifying session for Indy Next earlier today, Nick Yeoman. We talk about the hot start by Alex Palou. There's a driver in that series off to a hot start as well. Yeah, you mentioned it. Dennis Hauger, the driver from Norway, went out on the racetrack and did what he's done all season long, and that was put that 28 machine for Andretti Global at the top of the charts as he grabbed his 2nd pole position of the season a little bit earlier today in qualifying. Granted, he did have a little bit of good luck. It was a rapidly drying racetrack, very wet for Group 1. Kyle Collette set the fastest lap, and then once Group 2 went out of the racetrack, we saw what we don't usually get to see at Indy Next, which was live pit stops. All of those drivers got to put on the slick tires, and obviously their lap times were a lot faster. Nobody topping Dennis Hauger, so Mark, he will go for a 2nd race win tomorrow when we drop the green flag. Good qualifying runs, though. Kyle Collette ended up 2nd, and then Evagoras Papasavas qualified 3rd. So really excited to see how that plays out for round number 2 of Indy Next by Firestone. Everybody chasing Dennis Hauger tomorrow when we go racing. Just saw, Davey, another replay of the Scott Dixon incident, and I will say this about the folks here at Barber Motorsports Park. Those runoff areas with that gravel, I don't know how they laid them out, but whoever did it was genius because it slows the car down, but it doesn't bog the car down. That's right. It's something they can still get through and keep going. It's really nice as the green's coming out right now, Mark. But another great thing they've done is put grass on the outside of that as well before the barrier to allow, if you make it through that gravel trap, you can get on grass and you can make it back on racetrack. Let's go down to Drake York. Caught it with Callum Ilott, who misses it, not by a whole lot, but still down in 8th. And overall, Barber Motorsports Park, such a big and vast racetrack, and especially with the hybrid, how did that change how you qualified here?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a while since I've raced here. Well, a year and a bit. No, the car was good. Prema's done an amazing job to get better and better every race weekend we've had. And yeah, we were closer. We were half a tenth off of advancing, and I was really happy with the car. It's close, but this is where we need to be, and it's just nice to keep working from here. You mentioned it's close. What else do you need to at least move forward in the race tomorrow? Good strategy, good pit stops, nice tyre wear, all the good stuff. We'll try our best for it. But yeah, we're still learning, still progressing, but this is a good step. Thank you, Callum. Callum Ilott, we'll see him tomorrow, but he's going to have to pass some cars to get to the front. Green flag flies on this session, which will result in those who will compete in the Firestone Fast 6 to grab pole for tomorrow's race. Here's the lineup for you. Palou, McLaughlin, Armstrong, Award, Siegel, and Power. Colton Herta, Joseph Newgarden, Christian Lundgaard, Kiffin Simpson, Rinus VeeKay, and Louis Foster. The two quick takers to the racetrack as the clock is rolling now toward the 9-minute mark. Scott McLaughlin, Colton Herta,
crest the hill at turn number 4.
Yeah, Scott McLaughlin going for a third straight win here at Barber Motorsports Park. He will greet that giant spider statue first into turn number 5. Then Colton Herta, who admitted yesterday to the media this is his worst qualifying track, even went as far to say that he sucks here, Michael Young. I'm not sure Colton Herta is that bad anywhere. He'll charge with Scott McLaughlin into turn number 8.
Very humble, Colton Herta. Scott McLaughlin won it from the pole last year, trying to get another pole this year. Goes through the gearbox, sets up for turn number 11. Car play. Oh, he had a little wiggle as he entered turn number 11. Tad bit of understeer. Nice save as Colton Herta now follows him through turn 11.
First 3 years here, to your point, guys, he qualified 9th, and 10th, and his last 2 efforts here, Davey, he's qualified 14th and 15th, so we can't argue with Colton about that.
But right now, he seems to be having a good weekend. Matter of fact, he's across the line, P1 right there. I know a lot of guys haven't crossed yet, but this entire weekend, as much as he doesn't like rain, he said he doesn't like this racetrack, his times have been there. He's been really fast, so I don't discredit him and his talent. I think he's going to find himself in that fast 6.
Been around you guys a long time, and the only place you're ever happy is in victory lane.
That's right, unless you're super fast. And then when you do bad at a racetrack, you're always kind of down on it until you do good there, you know. And I remember even in Detroit when they did the first doubleheader, I was completely against it and said, no, you know, it's too hard to do for the crew, for the driver, everything else. And then that was team owner at that point. And then Simon wins the second race, and all of a sudden you kind of like it.
Oh, yeah, perspective changes for sure. Regis VK is among those on a pretty good run. We see a pretty good stack up of cars headed toward turn number 5. Regis VK running all by his lonesome. He just cleared the start-finish line. How about the 7 of Noble Siegel into turn number 5?
Yeah, here comes that 7. Whoa, big wiggle for that 7 machine. Christian Lundgaard will settle it back down, then get back on the accelerators. So the good news, didn't have anyone behind him, so that bright orange car, Michael, settles down into turn number 8 for Lundgaard.
Everybody trying to make their way and find clean track. Lundgaard actually locked him up as he entered turn number 8, back under the throttle and entering turn number 10 and 11. But we see it time and time again. Cars starting to stack up in the back half portion of this course.
And we've reached the 7-minute mark of this session now, and we're starting to see drivers think about coming to the pits for a change in the tire compound. Colton Herta started on those alternates. Let's get an update for the pits from Alex Wolf.
And Colton Herta into the pits, and he will stay on the alternate reds, it looks like, as they're going to cool things off on each corner of the Gainbridge Honda to get the old set of reds off and onto the pit wall, the new set on, and he'll be getting ready to go out after he cools things off for just a moment.
6.5-minute mark of the session. It's Herta, Palou, Will Power, Joseph Newgarden currently running 4th. Nick Yeoman.
Joseph Newgarden approaches that crest of the hill. Remember, he had a big crash there a couple years ago. Not so bad into turn number 5 this time. PPG colors on that car. Blue, white, rainbow splashes on the side pods. Nice smooth exit for Newgarden. He'll charge towards turn number 8 and you, Michael Young.
Very special course for this young man. He won his very first NTT IndyCar Series race under the Sarah Fisher Hartman banner. Now with Penske Racing, PPG number 2. Chevrolet makes his way through turn number 10. Looking like a good lap thus far for Joseph Newgarden.
Scott McLaughlin currently 5th quick with 6 minutes to go in the session. He's the next one to turn 4.
Now here comes Scott McLaughlin. Nobody in front of him, nobody behind him. That's exactly how I imagine Team Penske planned it out. The entry, though, into the corner, not very good. Big wiggle for Scott McLaughlin. He had to whoa it up and regather himself at the exit of turn number 6. Michael, he'll see if he can find those tenths that he lost in your part of the racetrack.
See if he can get that heart rate back down as he's greeted with gusts of wind. Allows that car to drift to the outside. Puts those left sides on that outside rumble strip. Now the right side's on the outside rumble strips through the left and right handers of 10 and 11.
5.5-minute mark. Colton Herta still P1, Alex Wolf.
Scott McLaughlin laid out. He'll be coming in shortly. Alex Palou is in the pits right now. Everybody going back onto reds. Actually, Marcus Armstrong went off of blacks onto reds, about a turn of front wing for the 66 car. So things really heating up with tire changes onto the alternates here on the front half of the pit lane. Over to Drake.
Same thing happening further down pit lane. Currently, Pato O'Ward about to pull into his stall with sticker fresh Firestone alternate tires. His teammate Christian Lundgaard has already changed on to new tires, along with Nolan Siegel. So all 3 McLarens here in just a second will be on sticker sets of Firestone alternate tires. Will Power, to the best of my knowledge, yet has not left pit lane with his brand new set of tires as well. So the new set's going on right now.
Interesting to note, Davey, Marcus Armstrong below us. They've held him for a bit now, and the release guy on the right front is looking up the pit lane, and he's waiting on traffic to clear. I think he's giving him as much clean racetrack as he possibly can as 3 cars are coming in behind him.
Yeah, and what he's able to do is he can watch down pit lane and see him when everybody else sends and just make sure he's sitting right in front of him to get optimum track position and get clean air as possible. That's what he did. So he could actually go out and he goes for it where everybody else is going to have to kind of back up a little bit, try to find that open track and that clean air to put down the best lap they can.
And given the time of those laps, I know the out laps here can be kind of tedious, but he went back out at about the 4.5-minute mark, and that's plenty of time to get that flyer.
That's right. You're going to be able to get 2 good flying laps in at that point. Got to cross that timing line 2 different times, and he's able. Now, the guy last out of the pits, it's going to be close for him to get 2 good flyers in.
So now, here's where things stand at the 3-minute, 43-second mark of this session. It's Herta, Palou, Powers, Siegel, Award, and Kiffin Simpson. McLaughlin is 7th fastest, then Ritas VK, Joseph Newgarden, Christian Lundgaard, the aforementioned Marcus Armstrong, and Louis Foster. So it's go time.
It's go time right now. And every car out there, all 12 of them have sticker, alternate, softer compound tires on. So it's now hit it right or you're going to miss out on that first 3 rows.
Walking through the paddock earlier, everyone was convinced that rain was coming, and we have not seen a hint.
Well, I just looked at the weather, and right now, I mean, keep your fingers crossed. I mean, it looks good right now. There's just a few spotty things around, but I think they're going to get away with this.
That timing by Marcus Armstrong and his crew gave him plenty of clean green racetrack, Nick Yeoman. You'll see him crest the hill in turn 4 momentarily.
Yeah, that was a pretty savvy move, getting him out ahead of some other heavy hitters, and because of that, he now has a nice clean entrance into turn number 5. He keeps that Sirius XM car all the way up against the right side of the racetrack to get the right angle into turn number 5, then swings it wide through turn number 6. Trying to carry as much speed as he can, Michael, down the straightaway.
Everybody else kind of stacked up. Even Scott McLaughlin may catch the tail end of this field, but for Marcus Armstrong, nothing but clean racetrack in front of him. Left sides look good, takes it to the middle of that racetrack. The typical line through the left-hander and right-hander. Now Will Power through the gearbox, trying to get that car up to speed. The number 12 Verizon machine. His teammate Joseph Newgarden right behind.
When the team makes a decision like that for Armstrong, bottom line is, Davey, they're putting it firmly in the driver's hands.
That's right. Now it's giving him the best opportunity that he can. That clean air, he's out front. He may be able to get even a 3rd lap if needed. Seems like those red alternate tires that last for more than just that 1 or 2 laps. So they maybe can get that 3 good laps out of him. So right now he has the opportunity, just in case he makes a mistake, he has a couple of opportunities.
Minute 45 left in this session. Herta, Palou, Powers, Siegel, Louis Foster, and Pato Award. Speaking of Louis Foster, he clears the start-finish line, running not too far in front of him, Nick Yeoman. You'll see Joseph Newgarden get to turn 4 first.
Yep, here comes Newgarden, crests the hill, charging down to turn number 5. He's got nobody behind him. Nope, there's Louis Foster as the Indy Next champion pops into view. I think Foster's a guy that's going to keep getting better and better as this season goes on, trying to replicate what Joseph Newgarden did years ago, Michael. Win Indy Next and then move up and be successful at IndyCar.
Joseph Newgarden makes his way through turn number 9, locks that front right up, and then Louis Foster right on cue makes his way into turn number 8. Bobby Rahal talking about how impressed he is with this young driver, although the driver has slowed down. Don't know if he thought that Joseph Newgarden was too close, but he's got plenty of green racetrack in front of him.
Minute left in the session. Ritas VK to turn 5.
A great story here for Dale Coyne Racing as they're trying to punch their way into the Firestone Fast 6. What an upset that would be. We know Ritas is fast everywhere we go, though. The Rocket rockets his way out of turn number 6, Michael, with that white and blue machine.
Starting to get some gel in this Dale Coyne machine. The team starting to find their way underneath this driver. Ritas VK making his way down that back straightaway. Car looks plenty good. He'll put those left sides right up alongside of the rumble strip at the exit of turn number 11.
4-time pole sitter, currently setting P1 with 17 seconds left. Will Power.
Yeah, how about that? Great run by Will. Had some issues early in the week or early in this qualifying run, but right now P1. Alex Palou, the guy that's got 2 firsts and a second so far this finish here in P2.
Lundgaard and Award, Arrow McLaren teammates, head to turn number 5.
Yeah, they want to hang with those Penske and Ganassi cars. They're going to have to find something here in the final seconds. In fact, the checkered flag is out, so these will be the final laps for Lundgaard, who is quickly out of turn number 6. Pato Award in tow, separated by about 20 car lengths. Michael, the Papaya Bunch, got to find some speed here in qualifying.
They got a lot of work ahead of him. Will Power's given up. He actually let his teammate Joseph Newgarden by. We'll see Christian Lundgaard roll his way through turn number 7. His teammate Pato Award right behind him. So the two Papaya machines making their way through the final portion of this course. Colton Herta right behind him.
And it looks like Nolan Siegel is going to be one of the final ones. Scott McLaughlin as well, and they are headed your way, Michael Young.
We see Kiffin Simpson making his way underneath the bridge. Also Nolan Siegel, as you said, making his way out of turn 8 for the final time. Let's see how Scott McLaughlin does. He looks content, really slow as he exits turn number 9.
He exits turn number 9, and Davey, Renus VK made a strong run on his last lap.
Wow.
He goes to P5.
Absolutely laid it down going through turns 11, 12, 13. I mean, laid it down. So did Nolan Siegel in P6 right now, bumping Lundgaard out of that top 6.
Scott McLaughlin clears that timing and scoring loop, doesn't improve his position, but he moves on to the fast 6. And as you mentioned, Nolan Siegel jumps into the fast 6. So here you go, the Firestone fast 6. Will Power, Alex Palou, Colton Herta, Scott McLaughlin, Renus VK, and Nolan Siegel. 7th fastest was Lundgaard. Pato Award, Joseph Newgarden, Kiffin Simpson, Marcus Armstrong, and Louis Foster. It's time now to go trackside. Check in with Eric Smith about the INDYCAR Fantasy Challenge, driven by Firestone. Here's Michael Young.
And now it's time to join Eric Smith, our INDYCAR Fantasy Challenge. Eric, this has been a lot of fun thus far through 3 rounds, and now the 4th round. I don't want to say a wild card. It's been very interesting as Scott McLaughlin goes for his 3-peat here. But as we look at the drivers to potentially work their way through the field, saw some surprises in Long Beach. Who you picking for the Children's of Alabama Grand Prix?
Yeah, it has been interesting, especially when you get, as we keep talking about these passing points, and the Penske guys have struggled a little bit with qualifying pace this season, and they've been strong at this track. So I'm really looking at them. Can they win 3 in a row with McLaughlin? That question remains to be answered, but he's got 2 top 6s in 3 races this season. So I'm looking at him, 5 top 7s and 6 natural road course starts last season. Will Power, 11 top 5s and 14 Barber tries. He's another one to watch. He's been quick this weekend. And, another guy to watch that is kind of flying under the radar is Scott Dixon. He's 0 for 14. Not one of the 28 tracks Dixon has ever won at, but he's got 6 runner-up finishes and 9 podiums. So those are kind of 3 favorites that you want to watch this weekend. Couple sleepers, might get some good value here. Graham Rahal, 11.9 average finish in 14 Barber starts. He's got 4 top 11s in his last 6 natural road course starts. He was 11th in thermal, so that's kind of going to get you maybe some passing points, a guy to maybe finish there around the top 10. What about Santino Ferrucci? He said this track has similar tendencies to Portland. He won the pole at Portland last year. He finished 7th at Barber last year. He's been good on natural road courses. So those are maybe a couple of guys you want to sprinkle in there to get some value plays this week.
Yeah, trust me, you don't have to tell Scott Dixon he hasn't won here in Barber. He knows he hasn't won, and he's ready to win for sure. Who is like the greatest wild card? If you had to pick somebody that nobody's looking at right now, do you have a driver in mind? If you just look down the field, is there a driver that you're like, you know what, this guy just might surprise everybody?
I honestly think Marcus Armstrong. It's a great question. A lot of people are talking about his teammate, obviously. Felix Rosenqvist will be his 100th start this weekend. He's 4th in points, ties the highest he's been ever. But Marcus Armstrong kind of flies under the radar. He's 11th and 9th in his 2 Barber starts. He finished 7th at Thermal. He's qualified really well this season. I think he could be a sneaky pick this weekend to kind of knock on the door of a podium.
I like that. That's a good call. Tell fans how they can get to be a part of the INDYCAR Fantasy Challenge.
Yeah, you go to INDYCAR.com, the INDYCAR app, Grid Rival. They'll all take you there, and you can kind of make your picks that way. You can also choose in a fantasy game of how many races you want to grab, guys. And you can move 3 or 5 race increments. I know some of them, if like my team, I had a couple of guys that had a 3-race increment, so I had to log back in and make some changes to my lineup. But if you're playing the single race, the Grid Rival app will take you right there to it.
Certainly been a lot of fun. We appreciate the time. As always, enjoy the race. We'll talk to you soon, Eric. That's Eric Smith, our INDYCAR Fantasy Challenge.
Yeah, we appreciate Eric Smith and all he does to promote IndyCar Radio throughout the course of the weekend, publishing our schedule and all of our on-air talent. We enjoy having him with us to update folks on that fantasy challenge each and every week. An interesting Fast Six, Davey Hamilton, Will Power, Alex Below, Colton Herta, Scott McLaughlin, Renus VK, and Nolan Siegel.
Yeah, how about that with Renus VK and Nolan Siegel? I think are, we didn't expect them to be up there. What great runs by them. How about the fastest Aero McLaren car of Nolan Siegel? That I don't know if that's happened before. He's got two great teammates that did not make it in. And then we talked about Renus VK and that Ask ROI car with Dale Coyne. What a great run. I mean, he laid it down. You could tell he was getting after it, and that seems to be a good relationship forming right there.
So it looks like the weather is indeed going to cooperate. We're going to get through all of these rounds, and so the teams can breathe a huge sigh of relief and stick with the original qualifying format that I'm sure in the plan that they all had laid out.
And then where they've had most of their running in the dry right now, the race is going to be in the dry, final warm-up will be in the dry. So, yeah, what a great opportunity for them to weather hit just right for this qualifying session.
And got to give a tip of the cap to some of the hardiest race fans. We see it each and every year when we come here, Davey. Regardless of the conditions, they file into this place by the thousands. And it's easy to see that why over the 13 or 14 years or 15 years that we've been coming here to Barber Motorsports Park, it's quickly become a favorite stop on the NTT IndyCar Series.
Yeah, no question about it. You see all the fans on the hill in the back. I had some friends from Kingdom Racing back there actually today, and I asked him, is it a little wet back there? He goes, it's a little damp, but it's good. The wind's blowing. It's kind of drying things out. Rain comes. I mean, these are true hardcore fans, and what a beautiful facility this is. As we mentioned time and time again, Mr. Barber did such a great job designing and keeping this place, tip-top.
Jeff Polly, friend of mine from Speedway, Indiana. Him and his crew make the trip down here in the RV every year. Got to visit with Donnie Smith yesterday, a friend of mine who's the sports information director at nearby Jacksonville State. He used to work at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in the media center. So people come from all over here to enjoy Barber Motorsports Park as the green flag flies on the 6-minute session, and we get set the top 6 positions for tomorrow's race.
Yeah, now I don't expect to see the times faster than it did in round 2, but I expect because they don't have a sticker set of the alternate red sidewall tires available. So now it's who has the best alternate tires that have laps on them. That's going to be a really key thing right now, and they may try both their sets that they went in round 1 and round 2 and just see which is better.
For some, the goal is to get into the round of 12.
Yeah, that's right. The whole key is get into the round of 12 and then use the second set to get into round of 6. Then from there on, you have a good starting spot, but you're going to have to use a used set of tires for this.
Well, there is some satisfaction with that. I think once you get to the Fast 6, obviously you want to sit on pole.
Yeah, well, that's right. And that's like I say, that's why you want to try to save, the best set of alternate tires for this run and try to get the very most out of that alternate set.
So the clock has started ticking because we've had drivers clear that timing and scoring loop. So it's Will Power, Renus VK, Colton Herta, Scott McLaughlin, Nolan Siegel, and Alex Palou. Those are the drivers that are vying for pole as we get ready to go racing here tomorrow at Barber Motorsports Park. And Nick Yeoman, there should not be an issue with these 6 drivers to this spacious facility and getting plenty of racetrack to go clean and green and get themselves a fast lap.
Yeah, if you screw it up at this point, it's 100% on you. No problems for Colton Herta, one of 5 different teams represented in this Fast 6 as well. We love to see that. Herta nice and smooth out of Charlotte's Web. Here comes the unflappable Alex Palou as well. Will Power dives it deep into Charlotte's Web as well as Nolan Siegel. So, Michael, everybody getting up to speed. Here comes Renus VK as well. Firestone Fast 6 is green.
Colton Herta already through into turn number 10, followed by Alex Palou. Colton really strong through turn number 9, was pushing that car hard. Will Power underneath the bridge. Now Nolan Siegel, first time ever in the NTT IndyCar Series here at Barber Motorsports Park. Put him in the Firestone Fast 6. And Renus VK, who had the pole back in 2022, the final to make his way under the bridge.
I think you're going to see 2 laps and then maybe a trip to the pit lane.
Yeah, I think, Colton Herta already has made his way on pit lane right there. So got 1 flyer in, 108.26, pretty good run. Will Power, 108.9. Second, actually, Renus VK, the fastest at a 108.18. But yeah, they're going to all peel off on pit lane right now and get that other set of alternates on, see what they can do.
And let's go to Alex Wolf.
And Colton Herta is, in fact, in the pits as he's putting on a set of red tires. Also, Alex Palou just came in. He's doing the same sort of change. And Scott McLaughlin also pulling out. A little bit of a bog, but Scott McLaughlin gets going. That's the sound you hear of Colton Herta and Alex Palou heading back out in this session.
Rinus VK, this is really not that big of a surprise, Nick Yeoman. I mean, he's been on pole here before as he exits turn 5.
Yeah, I think it's probably more of a surprise that team, Dale Coyne Racing. They're always kind of up and down. You never know exactly where they stack up in the grand scheme of things, but this is a nice combo and a nice pairing. Rinus VK, Michael, headed to you.
Always like to root for Dale Coyne and see a driver that has been announced, as Davey said, so late to the start of this season to do as well as he has in round number 4 here in qualifying. He's got Nolan Siegel in front of him, but Rinus VK already through turn 11.
Everybody but Scott McLaughlin has cleared that loop, and here's how things stand. Davey, Rinus, Colton, Nolan, Willpower, Palou still waiting on a time from McLaughlin.
Still waiting on that time. I think they're getting ready to send him out, or they just did actually send him out on course right now, finding his way in the meat wagon and warming his tires up going down that back straightaway. He didn't go out on that alternate set of tires. He just said, hey, here's our best set. I'm going to give it one run.
And he's going to give it one run indeed, and he'll be looking up when he comes out at Alex Palou, who's 5th fastest, Willpower, Nolan Siegel, Colton Herta, and Rinus VK, as there are under 3 minutes remaining in this session. And we see Scott McLaughlin trying to build up some heat in those tires and get that grip level up as he heads to turn number 1. We'll keep an eye on him and check in with Drake.
That's the name of the game. Rinus VK coming out of the pit lane right now. Nolan Siegel is now firing out of the 6th stall. They went with Scuff, Firestone alternate. Scuff's on the 6.
McLaughlin clears turn number 5 as we speak. Not too far behind him is Colton Herta.
Not a very aggressive line into turn number 5 for Scott McLaughlin. Can't say the same for Colton Herta. He's on the alternate reds. He drove it in pretty deep. So varying strategies, Michael. McLaughlin first to you.
Wasn't very, I guess, strong through this portion of the course, or aggressive, I should say. He did lock up the front right. Scott McLaughlin looking a little bit smoother through there, and Colton Herta a little less aggressive. Actually will back out of the throttle and get himself some room. Gapped himself about 4 seconds behind Scott McLaughlin.
Pick up Willpower and Rinus VK, Michael Young.
Well, here they come into the turn, and Willpower has swung that car wide. He will woe that machine up, so the Verizon Chevrolet now back into the throttle, so that will cost Rinus VK a good lap here. So now Rinus will allow that car to lay back, and in turn, Nolan Siegel will lay off of that throttle, and he will just now get into it at the entrance of turn number 10.
And we think Scott McLaughlin is now on the lap that will tell us where he will stack up. With 90 seconds remaining, he works his way around turn 3, crest the hill in turn number 4.
Yeah, based on kind of the body language, the way that car was moving around, I think that's a fair assessment, Mark. That was an out lap. This is now the flyer, and McLaughlin goes a lot harder into turn 5 and 6, trying to win a 3rd straight race here at Barber Motorsports Park. Michael, he could help that out if he can grab pole.
Well, we got to the end of the book, and we still don't know how this thing's going to finish. Scott McLaughlin, very aggressive. Back end steps out ever so slightly. He's on it now. Looks really good into turn number 10. Swings through that right-hander of turn number 11. Colton Herta put those left sides right on the rubber strips. Pretty aggressive this time through as well.
Davey, jump in the cockpit with him here through turn number 13.
Yeah, right there. Well, he's going to cross that timeline right now. Looks good through there. Puts it at a P1, 107.47. But Colton Herta, he's on a flyer right behind him. We'll see if he can hold him off. Here comes Colton Herta taking that line. Actually, he went by that starting. He's going on his 2nd lap right now, but he already does put it in P1.
Yep, and Scott McLaughlin's going to take another shot at it as Alex Palou clears that line, and he is P3. So Scott McLaughlin was P1, Nick Yeoman, but only momentarily, so he's going to take another run at it.
Yeah, it was just a mere matter of seconds, so he stays on the throttle. He'll charge down into turn number 5. Colton Herta sits about 25 car lengths back. Herta might actually be out of the throttle. McLaughlin, though, going to give it his best try. He'll charge up and out of Charlotte's Web. Michael, he'll set up at the top of the hill.
Herta has never had the pole here at Barber Motorsports Park. Scott McLaughlin trying to get back-to-backs. Oh, was really aggressive through turn number 8. Lets that car swing wide through turn number 9. He's after it. Scott McLaughlin trying to get back-to-back here at Barber Motorsports Park.
I believe Nolan Siegel was the last one in line. Davey, let's follow Scott McLaughlin.
Yeah, right now, flat out through turn 11, going to turn 12, over the crest of 13. He's going to cross the line right there. It is, and he does it. puts it in P1.
How about Scott McLaughlin? He goes to P1 as Colton Herta is working his way around the racetrack.
He stayed in second.
And he's going to stay in that second position as he heads to the pit lane. We see the car of Alex Palou. He's pedaling for all it's worth. He clears the checkered flag and goes to P1. Alex Palou at the checkered flag goes to P1. How about that? Nolan Siegel, the last driver to clear that timing and scoring loop. We see the car of Ritas VK. He clears the checkered flag. He goes to P5, and it looks like Nolan Siegel is going to land in P6. So Alex Palou, with no time on the clock, swipes pole away from Scott McLaughlin.
There you go. There it is again. He is on that roll, isn't he? Alex Palou, Scott McLaughlin. Colton Herta, great job for him. He's not liking this racetrack. By far, best qualifying run for him. Will Power had a really good shot to get another pole here, but he ends up in that 4th spot.
So Alex Palou and Scott McLaughlin will make up your front row, and it'll be Colton Herta, Will Power in row number 2. And Ritas VK and Nolan Siegel in row number 3, and a happy Alex Palou climbing out of the cockpit of that race car, Dave.
Yeah, how about that? New HRC sponsorship on that Honda race car. And, different look. Their DHL is on that car, but it's really a Honda Racing companies on that thing. And what a great run for them, and having Honda sponsor for the first time like that.
I'll tell you, it's been, quite frankly, an anxiety-filled afternoon for these race teams, Davey, because they had no idea what Mother Nature was going to do. When I was walking through the paddock while you guys were doing IndyCar qualifying, everyone to a man and woman was convinced that rain was coming during this qualifying session, and it never happened.
Yeah,
I would imagine Alex Palou's one of those that's probably happy it didn't.
Yeah, that's right. And if you look just barely north of here, I'm talking just like a mile or two, it's rainy up that way. And I mean, so they definitely dodged the raining bullet, and Alex Palou obviously happy about that, means he's P1.
So Devlin DiFrancesco going to roll off in that 27th position, and in row number 13 it'll be Scott Dixon and Jacob Abel. Row number 12 will be Marcus Erickson and Robert Schwartzman. Row 11, Graham Rahal and Stingray Robb. Row number 10, Connor Daly, David Malukas, Christian Rasmussen, Kyle Kirkwood in row number 9. In row 8, Alexander Rossi and Callum Ilott. Row 7, Santino Ferrucci, Felix Rosenquist. In row number 6, Marcus Armstrong, Louis Foster. Joseph Newgarden, Kiffin Simpson in row number 5. In row 4, Christian Lundgaard and Pottawa Ward. In row number 3, it'll be Ritas VK and Nolan Siegel. Colton Herta will power in row number 2. Scott McLaughlin starts second. And Alex Palou will start on pole. And, Davey, what an impressive run by Alex Palou, his 7th career pole.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, and, you know, just for the way his year is already going with a couple wins, a second place, his worst finish of the year, coming here, getting another pole. You know, that Ganassi team's giving him everything that he needs. Obviously, it's a great opportunity. Matter of fact, we're going to talk to Alex Palou right now.
And Alex Palou celebrating after winning the NTT P1 award. And boy, with the buzzer beater there, take us through that lap that got you the pole position.
It was tough. It was tough, honestly. I was struggling a little bit during qualifying, getting the first part of the lap. Just wasn't super happy with the car balance. But then Julie May, engineer, and everybody just fixed it for the last alternate run. And yeah, the car was amazing, honestly. Like, it's been really, really fast. But feels amazing to get the pole. We don't get poles very often, so it feels amazing to be starting up front tomorrow.
Really a wild day, because we all woke up, thought it was going to be rainy all day, then it was dry for the start of practice, wet for the end. We thought it was going to be wet during this qualifying session, stayed dry throughout. Have you ever had such a wild up and down day of planning for qualifying?
Yeah, I mean, we're on the same page. We were all thinking about wet qualifying. Actually, the car, we're thinking that it was going to have to be prepared for the wet, but yeah, at the end it was all sunny skies, so hopefully it's the same for tomorrow, and yeah, hopefully the fans can enjoy.
Yeah, Barber, a special place for you. First career win was here, and now as we look ahead, you talk about looking ahead to a race day. What do you think it's going to take strategy-wise?
It's always tough here. I mean, you have people running 2 stops. You have other cars running 3 stops. We won it 4 years ago in a 2-stopper, and the past couple of years it's been on a 3-stopper. So I think everybody's asking the same questions. It'll depend a little bit on the tires and the deck that we have in both compounds, but yeah, it'll be interesting.
That's Alex Blow on the pole position here at Barber.
And they'll get a 30-minute warm-up session tomorrow beginning at 9 a.m. local time, 10 a.m. Eastern time. And then flag-to-flag coverage of the Indy Next race. First time we've seen them on track in competition since St. Petersburg, the opener. 10:25 pre-race festivities with Dick Yeoman and company, 11:25 Eastern time. And then join us at 12 o'clock local time, 1 p.m. Eastern for flag-to-flag coverage of the Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix, powered by Amherst. And Davey Hamilton, going to be an interesting day. You heard Alex say it.
Yep.
Lots of race strategy to mull over during the overnight hours.
Yeah, not just straightforward here. That's for sure. And I do think that the alternate tire is going to be the best in the race. They're going to all test tomorrow morning, the final warm-up, to figure that out. I do think, he said he's won it on a 2 strategy, but the last few years, the 3-stop strategy has worked better. We'll do some fuel mileage and work on that overnight as well to see which I think is best. But, you got to look at positions 6, 7, and 8, all Aero McLaren cars, pretty close in setup, obviously, for those 3 drivers.
I think there's teams that probably know how they want to stack those primaries and alternates, but I'm guessing it will be that final 30-minute warm-up tomorrow that will solidify that decision.
That's right. I think that's going to solidify it. And I'm going to guess that when our pole sitter is going to start on a set of alternate tires and just see how far you can go. But like I say, that could all change tomorrow morning. They may put the harder primary tire on and say, hey, let's get rid of those first and let the end of the race be the alternate faster tire. So, it's like I say, that morning practice is so important.
Now, I will say this, track position, it's always important, but bottom line is track position very important here, Davey, because the lowest starting position by a winner is Will Power, 9th in 2012.
Yeah, and that's amazing. Honestly, this track, as fast as it is you got 17 corners, 16 to some, 17 to others. Just depends how you lay it out. A little over 2-mile course. So hard to pass, Mark. So hard to pass. It's almost somebody has to make a mistake to get that done. So normally the winners, they start towards the front of this field for sure.
I think that's why we see things get so aggressive down in turn number 5, because that is the single primary passing zone here.
Yeah, that's right. And you have to take advantage of coming through turns 2 and getting over that hill. And, you try to make it good through there.
Going for the 3-peat. He'll do so from the outside of front row tomorrow, outside of the front row tomorrow, Drake, talking about Scott McLaughlin.
Yeah, he's got a fantastic chance to make it a 3-peat. I think Alex said it best. Polo had a buzzer beater right at the very end of that one. Did it feel that way from your vantage point? Because it seemed like you had it locked up until the 10 came across the start-finish line.
I was just had my eye on the timing pylon, and then I saw the 10 come, and I was like, it's that guy again. But congrats to him. Great run. And, I'm just really proud of my Good Rancher Chevy team. Like we managed to bring a car that was okay, but we weren't great. And now this is back to sort of where I like it. And I'm just excited for tomorrow's race. Nice and sunny with a great starting spot, and see where we end up.
And you know how to start from the front here. And the question always when we come to Barber Motorsports Park, 2 or 3 stops. I know you can't really give away all the secrets, but what are you guys leaning towards right now?
We've won 2 races on 3 stoppers, so I guess you just answered your question.
Hey, that's good enough for me. Scott McLaughlin rolls from the outside of the front row tomorrow.
Good stuff, guys. Look forward to the race for sure. And again, join us 9 o'clock tomorrow Central Time, 10 o'clock Eastern. IndyCar warm-up session, 10:25, the Indy Next race, and then at 12 o'clock local time, 1 o'clock Eastern. Flag-to-flag coverage of the Medical Properties Trust presents the Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix, powered by Amherst. The director of IndyCar Radio is Chris Pollock. We have on-site engineering and production courtesy of Rick Evans. Corbin Lingenfelder handling things in the Master Control Studios in Indianapolis. Alex Wolf and Drake York, tremendous insight from the pit lane all day long. Great calls out of the course by Nick Yeoman and Michael Young. For our driver analyst, Davey Hamilton, this is Mark James. Have yourselves a great evening. So long for now from beautiful Barber Motorsports Park.
The preceding was an exclusive copyrighted presentation of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Radio Network.
Hi, I'm James Hinchcliffe with a message from Outrun the Sun. If we could prevent breast cancer, we would do it. If we could prevent lymphoma, we would do it. If we could prevent leukemia, we would do it. We can prevent most skin cancers. So, let's do it. When you're at the track, protect yourself. Don't let a sunburn become part of your race day tradition. Learn more about skin cancer at outrunthesun.org.
If you're going on a trip and you need a car reservation, call the car reservation hotline now for access to every major rental car deal across the United States. We can save you a ton of money. Don't get lost searching, and don't get lost in an endless phone tree nightmare. When you call us, there's never a hold time. You'll get connected to a real human. We have access to crazy rental car deals, and we make it easy. Just one phone call to access everything. How much simpler can it get? Find out right now for free what kind of car rental deals we can get you. You'll be amazed. Pick up the phone and call the car rental hotline right now.
Call 800-797-1239. 800-797-1239.
We'll even give you one free rental car day with your reservation. Write this number down right now and call.
Call 800-797-1239. That's 800-797-1239.
Every lap, every session, every race. Download the INDYCAR app powered by NTT Data today for live onboard cameras, timing and scoring, and more. Download in the App Store or Google Play.
Over 4,600 press and media people are covering this race today from all over the world. Listening to us in Los Angeles, our old friend Bob Wilkie is back from filming in India. We're going to have, because the race is being run on Sunday for the first time, a special invocation this morning. Reverend Ray Montgomery of the Speedway Christian Church will deliver this serious moment as the entire assemblage of more than 300,000 fans stand.
God of our fathers, who has made us heirs of all generations, now revive our memories that we may recall the good which has been done for us, and also forget the evils which have been done to us. Let this prayer affirm that this gathering of people will not forget those who have died for our country. May we never forget what they did, nor why they did it. They met their test. Help us now to meet ours by building upon their sacrifice the best kind of memorial, a determined movement which will seek to remove forever the need for any more sacrifices of the precious gift of life. Grant, we pray thee, that the excitement of this day may not cause us to forget thee, whose guidance we need and whose watchfulness we implore. Amen.
Reverend Ray Montgomery, Speedway Christian Church.
A brief Sunday service being held here before undoubtedly one of the largest groups to hear a minister. I know there are many churches wishing Godspeed to our drivers at almost this moment right now in Indianapolis and far beyond. The official symbol of victory for the 500-mile race is the Borg-Warner Trophy, which is exhibited in front of the Tower Terrace during the race, placed in back of the winner's car in Victory Lane. And each year a silver sculpture is made of the winner's head and is affixed to the trophy. Below each head, an engraver is inscribed the winner's name, his average speed, and the year of his win. This trophy, introduced here 38 years ago when it was won by Louis Meyer in 1936. This year's winner receives the trophy from Jim Beret, president of Borg-Warner. It's a beautiful 5.5 feet tall, weighs 80 pounds, but it's too large to be a personal keepsake to carry away. Instead, the driver is given a sterling silver replica of the trophy on a walnut plaque. And the Borg-Warner Trophy itself remains on public view throughout the year in the museum here. And now taps for Memorial Day. the combined United States Forces Color Guard to honor America's war heroes on this Memorial Day here in the North. Our next order of business, as the color and pageantry continues, is that of the rendering of Back Home Again in Indiana. Will be sung for you shortly by Jim Neighbors. Mr. Edward Cole is coming out in our broadcast booth, and Dolly Cole, he's the president of General Motors here today. Got other dignitaries out watching the start of the race from this wonderful spot. And now back home again in Indiana.
Back home again in Indiana, and it seems that I can see the gleaming candlelight still burning bright through the sycamores for me. The new mown hay sends all its fragrance through the fields I used to own. When I dream about the moonlight on the Wabash, I long for my Indiana
This is that muted moment.
Jim Neighbors, also known as Gomer Pyle, singing the sentimental Back Home Again in Indiana.
This is that muted moment of accelerated pulse of an inner tingle when seconds live like ages to the magnificent 33. We're in the pace car about 100 feet in front of the starting field. Jillions of many-colored balloons have been released to the Hoosier skies. The signifying bombs have been detonated. The 33 marching bands and the visiting celebrities have concluded the pre-race festivities, and the 11 rows of 3 are silently poised on the track. Of the 33 cars, 11 are painted in various shades of red. 5 are white, 5 are blue, 4 are orange, 3 are bronze, 3 are yellow, 1 brown, and 1 silver, forming a chromatic legion unique with this multi-million-dollar spectacle. Riding in the pace car with Tony Holman and Jim Rathman will be astronaut Frank Borman, Bill Kay, president of Hearst Performance, and Chris Schenkel of ABC. There is always something new in the 500-mile race, and this year, starter Pat Vidal is in the tower at the starting line. His elevated position is that to give him a better view. 4 words from one man will transform this quiet lull into a multitudinous roar. We are ready now for those 4 awaited words from Tony Holman.
Gentlemen, start your engines.